I've never told anyone this story in full. Not my family. Not the police. Not even my therapist. Because the moment I say it out loud, it stops feeling like something that happened and starts feeling like something that might still be happening. I'm telling it now because I can't keep pretending it didn't change me. And because sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I still hear the whispering soft, patient, and far too close. I was 26 when I entered the house on Brookfield Road, and I've never slept the same since. People in my town avoided that place. They didn't talk about it directly. They just looked away when you mentioned it, like you brought up something impolite or contagious. The house wasn't boarded up. It wasn't falling apart. It didn't look haunted. That was the worst part. It looked lived in. At the time, my life was painfully ordinary. I worked night shifts at a logistics warehouse on the edge of town, scanning packages until my eyes burned and my legs ached. I lived alone in a small apartment, ate microwave dinners, and slept during the day with blackout curtains pulled tight. I liked quiet. I liked routine. I didn't believe in ghosts or bad energy or any of that. On my drive home one morning, just before sunrise, I noticed the house for the first time. A 2-story colonial on Brookfield Road. White siding, dark windows, perfectly intact. It looked wrong only because everything around it had been demolished years ago. Old homes, factories, even the convenience store all gone. But that house remained, standing alone like someone had forgotten to erase it. I asked a coworker about it once. He just said, "Don't go in there," and changed the subject. That should have been enough. It wasn't. The first time I approached the house, I told myself I was just curious. The yard was overgrown, but not wild. The grass looked recently pressed down, as if someone had walked through it. There were no trespassing signs. No boarded windows. The front door was closed, but unlocked. I remember the air feeling colder the moment I stepped onto the porch. Not colder like weather, colder like stepping into shade after heat. Inside, the house smelled old, not rotten. Just stale, like dust and paper and something faintly metallic. The floors didn't creak when I walked. That bothered me more than if they had. I called out, half expecting someone to answer. No response. But I could hear something else. Breathing, slow, faint, somewhere deeper in the house. I told myself it was my own. I left after 10 minutes. That night, I dreamed of a hallway that wouldn't end. I went back the next night. I don't know why. Curiosity, maybe. Or the way the house seemed to pull at me when I drove past, like a thought I couldn't finish. This time, I brought a flashlight. The air inside felt heavier, like it resisted my movement. The silence pressed against my ears until I could hear my own pulse. Then I noticed something new. Footprints in the dust. Bare feet, small, child-sized. They led down the hallway toward the back of the house and stopped in front of a closed door. I stood there, staring at the handle. I swear I could feel someone on the other side, standing inches away. That's when I heard it. A whisper, so quiet I almost missed it. "Don't go." I froze. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It sounded tired, weak, human. I stepped back and left the house without looking behind me. That night, I locked my apartment door for the first time in years. 3 nights later, I returned. I don't have a good explanation. Curiosity had turned into something closer to obligation, like the house was waiting for me. This time, the front door was open. Inside, the air was colder than outside. The smell had changed sharper now, like old water and copper. The whispering started almost immediately. Not words, just breath and murmurs moving from room to room. I followed it upstairs. Each step creaked softly, too softly, like the house was careful not to make noise. At the end of the hallway was a door I hadn't noticed before. It was ajar. I pushed it open. The room was empty except for a single chair in the center, and something sitting in it. A person. They were facing away from me, thin, motionless. Their hair was long and tangled, hanging down their back. I said, "Hello?" They didn't move. I took a step closer. That's when I realized the whispering wasn't coming from the room. It was coming from inside my head. "You came back." The voice didn't belong to the person in the chair. It belonged to someone right behind me. I turned, but there was no one there. My heart slammed so hard, I thought I'd black out. The room felt smaller, the walls closer. The whispering grew louder, overlapping, layered like several people speaking at once, just inches from my ears. I couldn't tell what they were saying, only that it was meant for me. My vision blurred. My hands went numb. I tried to scream, but nothing came out. The person in the chair slowly turned their head. Their face was wrong, not decayed, not monstrous, just empty. Like someone had erased the features and forgotten to redraw them. Where the eyes should have been, there was only smooth skin. The mouth opened anyway, and when it spoke, it used my voice. "You shouldn't have come back. I don't remember running. I don't remember leaving the house. I remember waking up on the pavement outside, soaked in sweat, the sun rising over the trees. The house behind me looked completely normal, empty, silent. I was taken to the hospital. They said I'd collapsed from exhaustion and dehydration. I told them about the house. They exchanged looks. Later, a police officer came to my room. He asked me why I'd gone there. When I asked what he meant, he hesitated. "That house," he said, "burned down 15 years ago." I told him that was impossible. He showed me the report. A fire late at night, a family of 3. Only one body was recovered, a child. The parents were never found. The house had been demolished after the fire. There was nothing there now but an empty lot. I checked. The next day, I drove to Brookfield Road. There was no house, only scorched earth and weeds. No footprints, no door, no windows. Just a cold patch of ground where something had once stood. I dug deeper. Old newspaper clippings, town records. The family's last name was Harper. They'd reported hearing voices in the house for months before the fire. Neighbors said the child often talked to someone in the walls. On the night of the fire, multiple people reported hearing screaming, but no one called for help because the screaming sounded wrong, like it wasn't human. The official cause of the fire was never determined. The case was closed, unsolved. I still hear the whispering sometimes. Late at night, when everything is quiet, it sounds just like my own voice. And sometimes, when I'm half asleep, I can feel someone standing at the foot of my bed, waiting, because I think when I went into that house, something followed me out, and I don't think it ever left.